How's it going, everybody? Ragiroth here. So I know it's been a little bit of a while since I've kind of done a normal Mortal Kombat 11 video speculating and talking about theories and all that. So I mean, here we are like a few months after the game comes out. We only got one DLC character. We still don't know the whole pack. And it looks like we're not getting the next character until kind of mid-August, which is basically proving that we're getting a character bi-monthly, not every monthly, how Injustice 2 and MKX did it, which really blows for me because this basically means I'm not getting the spawn until probably the end of this year, and I'm not getting Fujin until probably literally next year. I am excited for Nightwolf, though. I'm not overly thrilled about his design. I like it. I don't love it. And it is cool that even though it is bi-monthly, he's actually coming out a day, well, at least for Season Pass owners, and I am one of them, a day before my birthday, which is kind of I guess kind of a neat birthday gift. I mean, of course, Spawn would have been better, but I won't complain. I love Nightwolf. And I'm excited for Sindel as well. So I guess probably the biggest mystery left with the game is who these last two guests are. I mean, honestly, this mystery isn't that hard to figure out. It's nowhere near as, like, say, you know, a Smash Ultimate, like who the last two characters in that Fighter's Pass is. We already have a pretty solid idea of who they are, but we're not 100% sure. Most people say they are, and I mean, I guess, yeah, it is probably leaning towards more one way than the other. But, so we basically know that probably Terminator is one of them, as, first of all, he was leaked in the files way back when. He had a lot of intro dialogue, kind of similar to Spawn. He had more dialogue than, like, Ash and Joker did. Probably, I think about as much as Spawn did. I don't know, you know, if he had a little more, a little less. Then, of course, we had that jingle at the end of the, I guess, the Shang Tsung trailer that showed, like, you know, I guess told us who the DLC characters were. After the two guests, we kind of had a jingle that was kind of like the Terminator theme, or Terminator 2, I forget which one it debuted in. The da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Like that one. It sounded, maybe not exactly, but very similar. My friend Mark Yoon even did a video talking about that. So we're pretty sure he's one of the guests, especially because there hasn't really been anything denying that he's a guest or it's a guest. So yeah, we're pretty sure on Terminator. It's the other guests that we're slightly iffy on. Slightly. It's the one that, you know, I guess kind of is most likely the cause of the chainsaw and blood spatter a part of the trailer. The two main candidates seem to be Ash Williams from the Evil Dead series and Doomslayer, or Doom Guy, from the Doom series. Basically, what I'm making this video for is to kind of put out the facts, you know, what we know so far, and who seems more likely to be this character. So I'll start with Ash first, since he's the one that I guess we're kind of popped up, I guess, first. Obviously, you know, I'll go with pros and cons. So one big pro, obviously, he was found in the game files. That's like a huge pro right there, huge one. When they first shown off, you know, the Shang Tsung trailer and who some of the DLC characters are, Bruce Campbell did tweet, or I think retweet the trailer saying, "Seems like a swell game. Guess I'll check it out," or something to that degree. I apologize if I'm not exact. Which, you know, seems a little suspicious, don't you think? And then I think if you type in like Ash Campbell, Bruce Campbell, Ash in Mortal Kombat 11, I think there's an ad that actually comes up for the game, you know, saying he's in the game or something like that. And the same comes up with Terminator. That's also another reason why we think Terminator's probably in the game. So he has a lot going. But here's, I guess, what's kind of going against him. Bruce Campbell has actually kind of outright denied that Ash was going to be in the game. He first made this tweet around, okay, it was like early May 6th. He said, "Consider this my finishing move against a certain internet rumor." This was also, I think, around the time that we got the data mine leaks, because I think this was a little after the game came out, or I think it was about to come out. I forget exactly when. This might not even be the right date. I just know it's around there. So he said, you know, it's this funny picture of him kind of in like Mortal Kombat style, saying Bruce Campbell wins, fatality, flawless victory. And, you know, he's winning against the internet rumor about Ash being MK11. According to Bruce Campbell himself, Evil Dead's Ash will not be appearing in Mortal Kombat 11. So yeah, that's kind of crushing the rumor. But then again, it's like, you know, he could just be saying this because Ash wasn't officially confirmed yet. Not to mention, but again, I was saying that I heard more rumors about him being a Pack 2 guest. So technically, we don't have to have Pack 2 confirmed. So that might literally mean nothing. That might just mean he's not going to be DLC yet. But then, this is very confusing because after, like it was a little after the trailer, and I guess after he made that tweet, he was in this video, I guess it was on, the Jim and Sam show. They were interviewing him, and they asked about him, talking about him being in Dead by Daylight, and they also asked about him being Mortal Kombat 11. Now, the Mortal Kombat 11, he once again denied that he won't be in the game. He first was saying that, you know, it was just a rumor, it's nothing, and then he actually got approached, and I think he still said no, or something. Like, apparently, I think he just kind of wants Ash to be a cameo, not a playable character.
But what about Mortal Kombat?
Yeah. Well, okay, so then what happens is, then that pops up. Are you going to be in that? And that started as more of a fanboy thing. And then they actually contacted us.
Mm-hmm.
So when I posted that graphic saying I'm killing this rumor, I had never heard any hint. No one approached me about it. Nothing. My reps, nothing.
It was all fanfic.
It was all fanfic. So I went, no, this is wrong.
Right.
I'm not doing shit with that. Sorry. Bye.
Yeah.
And then, like, literally, phone rang a couple days later. Mortal Kombat 11. So if we can figure something out that is also in the same vein of Ash pops up, says some one-liners, goes away, that could easily happen.
Cameo, no playable character.
Correct.
Either A, this was recorded before that trailer. B, he's lying, and maybe they just haven't started working on Ash or anything like that. So, and I guess that's technically his way around it. C, he's going to be in the game. He's just going to be a cameo, which I think is really silly, having a guest cameo. Maybe he'll be part of another guest character's moveset? I don't know. That's weird. Like Dead by Daylight, I think it works, but I think with a game like Mortal Kombat 11, like a fighting game, I think it's like, you know, you either be playable or, especially if it's a guest character. Like I get, you know, well, as a Rain fan and like a Smoke fan, I see what they're doing there, and you know, I guess Ermac and Reptile are saying soon as well. But you know, I think with the guest character, it's like gonna either be playable or don't be playable. So yeah, like he's been crushing this rumor, or at least trying to crush it multiple times. And then I guess this could kind of be a pro and a con. Now, while he does have lines in the data mine for the game, he doesn't have that much. So he could have just been, I guess, maybe planned. They wanted to. They started writing a few things for him, but then maybe when they approached him, he's like, no, that's not happening. I mean, I guess it's a possibility. I guess, and maybe they kind of left it in there because they're like, hey, if we can keep one thing a secret, let's, you know, just have him be a troll thing. I mean, that's a messed up thing to troll about, but then again, being a Rain fan, I wouldn't put it past NetherRealm Studios. I would not put it past them. Some of the crap they've been pulling this time. So yeah, he has basically, you know, he has a lot of hard pros for him, but then he has some kind of hard cons for him. I mean, I don't know, maybe Bruce Campbell is doing some next level, like trolling, misleading, lying. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't totally put it past him, but he is. I feel like, I don't know, the interviews with Sam, the Jim and Sam show, that is a lot more kind of, I guess, you know, to the point and explaining why. So I don't know. So now let's move on to Doomslayer. He's kind of the opposite with Ash in regards to, I guess, he has very kind of soft, I guess, pros in his favor, while he doesn't really have any cons, or at least not many hard ones, I guess I should say. I guess the first, possible hint that he was going to be a guest character was, this was back, and I think it was December. I unfortunately can't view the whole tweet. Apparently it's not available anymore. I know it was Cliff Blazinski, you know, the Unreal Tournament guy. He asked Ed Boon, like, oh, you know, could you really put, like, you know, Doomslayer, Doom Guy in Mortal Kombat 11? Ed Boon responded by saying, too violent, with a winky kind of emoticon. So kind of like a, you know, a joking, like, oh, he's too violent kind of thing. And then the official Doom Eternal, or I guess Doom Twitter, actually responded saying, nothing wrong with a little ultra violence. So it's not them even denying it either. Admittedly, I kind of think the guest characters, I feel like, were probably decided at this point. Granted, this game has been kind of rushed, so I don't know. So this might have been a bit too soon. But yeah, it's definitely a point in its favor, I guess. At the very least, it might mean, you know, I always kind of figured he'd maybe be more of a Pack 2 guest character, in my opinion. Again, he has had very little things in his favor. They're more so, I guess, on the side of speculation and all that, but I guess they are worth mentioning. Basically, when they were presenting Doom Eternal at the Bethesda conference, like one of the only good parts about that, they had kind of, I guess, this battle mode they were showing off. And the announcer for it sounded very Mortal Kombat-esque. Very Mortal Kombat-esque.
Fight. Slayer killed. Round 2.
And, I mean, obviously, they could just be going for a similar style. It might mean nothing, but it is a weird coincidence. And then you even did have another guy, you know, they were showing off the collector's edition, the helmet. There was a guy in the audience wearing the helmet. Now, this is really reaching, you know, grasping for straws here. Some people think the person wearing the helmet may have been Ed Boon. Honestly, the guy does have kind of, I guess, a Ed Boon aura around him. I feel like he's wearing something I could see Ed Boon wearing. I guess maybe a similar build. But that's like very, very, you know, speculatory right there. Then, again, another very small thing. Stephanie Brownback, I think, made a tweet one day. I think it was actually around one of the same days they showed off a teaser image for like Nightwolf for Sindel. It was just kind of a gif of, you know, some old classic Doom gameplay. Now, she could have just been... I've looked at her Twitter. She has other things that aren't just Mortal Kombat related. But it's like... And by the way, she's one of the people that does the Combat Cast, you know, in case you're wondering who that is. I mean, it's like, again, it's a little ass thing, but... it's worth mentioning, I think. Then, of course, I guess, you know, so there hasn't really been anything directly saying, like, no, Doomslayer will not be in the game, like kind of how Bruce Campbell has been saying with Ash. But then it's like we just haven't really seen as much hard evidence that he's going to be in the game. I would say, though, that this is kind of where I think Ash not having that many lines is where Doomslayer could come into play, because Doomslayer doesn't talk. So you don't really have to make intro lines for him. Though I guess it would probably be kind of with like Jason, Leatherface, Alien and Predator, where like they would do something in the intro and then the character they're fighting would say something, I guess, relatively unique, responding to them. But this is a lot of lines they don't have to record. So if Ash was planned, this would actually be very kind of, I guess, a quicker way for them to kind of get him in the game, get Doomslayer in the game, especially because it's like he's a video game character. They have models and bigger references to work with. They can just kind of maybe, I don't know, maybe id Software works for them kind of making the models or just importing the models over to Mortal Kombat 11. I'm not sure how that works. I don't really know. I'm not going to assume I know how that works. I just do think it would probably be an easier character to get in the game than someone like Ash. Maybe making the moveset would be a little more complicated. I don't know about that. But just in terms of, I guess, voice work and I guess just having the assets there might be easier. Now, I guess I should also mention that both characters have something game-related coming out. I mean, obviously, Doomslayer has Doom Eternal. That's coming out in November, when we'd probably be getting one of, I guess, we'd probably be about halfway through the combat pack. Ash, there's going to be, like, I think, a VR game or something that I agree, an Evil Dead VR game, which is coming out. So I guess either way, MK11 would be advertising something that the character has coming up. Now, I think, I mean, you know, obviously it's subjective. I think most of us would kind of consider Doom Eternal being the bigger release that they probably want to market towards, especially because I think, you know, Doom and Mortal Kombat, I think, have a big history together, you know, being basically very violent games of the early 90s that essentially created the SRB. Not that Evil Dead and, you know, Mortal Kombat can't have history together too, but I feel like Doom and Mortal Kombat are the bigger, I guess, tied to each other. And, you know, I mean, it is another video game character. Mortal Kombat is a video. But yeah, these are kind of, I guess, all of the pros and cons I'm kind of seeing in their favor from what we've noticed. Now, I try to be as unbiased as possible. If I had to make a bet, I would say that Ash is probably still the more likely one. I think we're maybe just being kind of thrown off, you know, just to maybe keep some of the secret and mystery alive. And we know how they are with us. You know, Bruce Campbell's probably a bit of a troll himself. And then combined with like Ed Boon, you know, two friggin' big trolls right there. Now, who do I want more? I personally think they're both fine guest characters, but gun to my head, or should I say boomstick to my head, I would easily pick Doomslayer. After Spawn, Doomslayer was probably my most wanted guest character. I'm a huge Doom fan. I mean, I became more of a Doom fan in 2016, but I've still liked it since like Doom 3 and stuff. I think he's a perfect character for Mortal Kombat. I think his moveset would be like, mwah. Especially because it's like with Doom Eternal, he has like kind of the claws and the flamethrower now, more close range options. And it would be kind of like Predator, and that's another reason I kind of like it, because they kind of already kind of reused some things, not making him a carbon copy clone of Predator, granted, that they could, I guess, maybe kind of have Predator live on a little bit through him. I just think his moveset would be insane. Just the idea of Mortal Kombat and Doom finally being something together, I think would be really epic and cool to see. I mean, admittedly, the main thing I think Ash has over Doomslayer is personality, because Doomslayer does not talk. Ash does talk and has a very cool and comedic personality, which I think a lot of us would love to see. But I guess, just in terms of, I guess, a playable character in a game, I'd much prefer Doomslayer. But I would, if it did wind up being Doomslayer, I would admittedly feel a little bad for the people that, you know, expected and wanted Ash. You know, because they got trolled. They would have got trolled really hard. And I guess even myself, I guess I was mentally preparing for Ash to be in Mortal Kombat 11, so that would have kind of thrown me off as well myself. And it would have been cool to see him interact with like Spawn and like maybe like Johnny Cage and stuff. So that would be a little bit of a bummer. But I think just in terms of a character to play as in a fighting game, I would prefer Doomslayer. But again, I'm trying not to be biased here. I do still think Ash has a slightly greater chance. I think there's just a lot of misdirection or something, or miscommunication going on here. And the other thing is, another possibility is, even if Ash isn't in Pack 1, he very well could be in Pack 2. Or it could be vice versa. We could begin Ash in Pack 1, and then Doomslayer's going to be in Pack 2. Like, you know, I mean, if Combat Pack 2 is 6 characters and not just the 3 we've heard of with Fujin, Shiva, and Joker, and, you know, I mean, as much as I would kind of like them to just focus on Mortal Kombat characters, you know, they're going to try to probably get more guests in there. And I think Doomslayer, if you got to do that, please just at least pick Doomslayer. For the love of God, just pick Doomslayer, please. But I think that's about it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What character do you think is a bit more likely, has a bit more, I guess, going for them based off the stuff I talked about? Or I guess, what character do you want more? So, yeah, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my friend Mark Yoon in the description below. And as I always say, another time, another place. Keep being awesome. And thank you for checking out the video.